When I think of making scalloped potatoes, I get excited because to me it's like making dessert. Basically, we have many layers of thinly cut potatoes that we separate with cheese. And when we bake it, all this wonderful cheese and potatoes molding into one. But one of the most important things is to make sure that you grease the pan properly. So what we have in here is butter. You got to use your hands. There is no other tool that will work as good as your hands. And what I like to do is to spread it all over the pan so that the sides and the bottom of the pan are completely covered. Why do I do this? Even though this pan is a non-stick, for flavor, pure unadulterated flavor. This flavor right here that the butter gives to the potato is going to enhance them enormously. I cut these potatoes by hand with a knife. You can also use a mandolin, but if you do it with a mandolin, do me a favor, never be in a rush. When you're in a rush, that's when problems do occur. There is not a point for us to be overly taken by this, and especially since I cut these potatoes just about an hour ago, you notice that some of them are starting to turn. It will happen to you at home. Is this a problem? Not at all. Once they cook, they completely collapse. The one thing that I find important is the selection of the cheeses. What you will find today is that the basic cheeses that I use are part of the traditional way of doing it, which is the Swiss cheese, Gruyere, and Parmigiano. So here we have some Swiss cheese that I've already put together and chopped up by hand. We're going to sprinkle it right on top like this, and then you go with Parmigiano. And when you go with Parmigiano, you just use it. Then what I do at this point always is a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. The next thing that we're going to do is we create another layer. Right here it is. Here we go with this right on top of it. So here we go again with another big, abundant addition of my Gruyere. By the way, Gruyere is nothing more than another name for Swiss cheese. It tends to be a little bit sharper, and I like the Gruyere in the family of Swiss cheeses for the very reason. This is the top now. This is the one that you want to put all the extra cheese that you can, just like this. Remember, these potatoes, as they cook, they will fall on top of each other. And now we go again here with Parmigiano, molto Parmigiano. Now, the last addition that we're going to make is very important. What we have in here is half and half. I've done this with milk only. I've done it with cream only. I find that half and half, which is basically a mixture, equal mixture of milk and cream, gives me the perfect rendition. So you add it, and how much do you add? Depending on the pan that you use, you want to bring it at least 3/4 of the way up. And there we are. This is the perfect amount that we have for this particular pan. The oven right now is preheated at 375 degrees. Sometime I even preheat it to 400 degrees because you lose some heat once you open the oven. So the scalloped potatoes are ready and the oven is preheated, and now I'm going to place them into the oven. Baby, it's out of the oven. It's very hot. You will notice it's cooked all the way around. Now, most people like to dive right into it. Don't do that. What I propose that you do is that you let it rest, let it get to room temperature, then put it into the refrigerator and let it rest overnight. Why? My opinion is that the flavors get even better. But what is the added advantage of letting it rest overnight? Let me show you. Take a look at this pan. Here are two pieces that I cut in perfect square. It makes it ideal when you want to serve it to your friends to basically cut it into whatever shape you want. And then using a pan, you can put it in the oven to reheat it. You don't need any more than, I would say, 350, 375, between 10 and 15 minutes at the most, depending on the size of the piece. And this is how you make scalloped potatoes.
Nick Stellino, Storyteller in the Kitchen, is made possible by Domino Foods, makers of C&H Sugar and Domino Sugar, the real way to do sweet. Visit nickstellino.com for more recipes, culinary tips, and more information about Nick Stellino, Storyteller in the Kitchen.